It's great to have you along with us this morning, 5:37 a.m. It is Wednesday today, August the 9th, and we do see an unstable air mass across the GTA. There's no real big triggers to set off these storms. A little bit of daytime heating. We do see a weak front coming through, so there is a chance for some thunderstorms today, but I'm thinking many people probably won't see them. So we're going to get into that forecast. A better potential, that's for sure, on Friday, as we do see a bigger system coming in. A lot more energy expected with this one. And then a cooler weekend yet again. We also could be seeing some wet weather too. So there certainly is still a lot of action happening across the east. And it's all because of this. See this jet stream here? See how it's dipped right down to the south? We are sitting in this trough, and essentially it's allowing energy to move in across our area. The cooler air is pooling in as well. So as we look here at the energy we're seeing today, there's really not a huge amount of it to see big thunderstorms. Isolated pop-up storms, yeah, we're going to be in the risk with that. But as we fast forward and move this into Thursday, you can see how this energy continues to grow, especially over towards Ottawa and Montreal. What I'm standing in front of here is all of the energy that's going to start to develop just along Lake Michigan, and that is what's going to be moving in for Friday. Of course, the Great Lakes are going to modify that a little bit, but that's where we see the more energy moving in towards the end of the week. So today, yes, we do have a slight risk for seeing a thunderstorm. Isolated pop-up. We are not going to see big organized thunderstorms or a line of storms track through, but there is still that slight risk today. And then tomorrow, the risk for a storm really moves off to the east of us and then is up towards cottage country. So this week in cottage country, it really has been the story of those hit and miss showers. We're still dodging some of those. This afternoon, 27 degrees in Toronto. We're a little above seasonal now, so a warm day, a warmer start to the morning too. Yesterday it was cold to start the day. Today, not so much. This evening, 24 degrees, again, putting us in that slight risk of seeing a thunderstorm. And then tomorrow, that stable air mass takes over. But again, cottage country, we're going to be watching for some showers. Huntsville, for example, 25 degrees, showers expected for you. One thing here before we get to traffic, I just want to show you this. High pressure across the west, that is keeping them high and dry, essentially high pressure, sunny skies, really warm conditions building in. And us here stuck in this trough, and we are going to see that lack of extreme heat really as we move right through the weekend. So don't expect a big jump up to 30 degrees for Saturday. Just want to show you our roads this morning, and I have to say 5:39 a.m. and it is completely dark out there. It is 5:46 a.m. on this Wednesday morning, August the 9th today. Right now we're 18 degrees in Toronto, so a bit of a warmer start than what we were feeling yesterday, that's for sure. 15 degrees in Barrie this morning. Yesterday we were only about 7 and 8 to start off the morning. As we look at the energy here, there is going to be a risk of a thunderstorm today for the GTA and then tomorrow over towards Ottawa. There's no real big energy or real big risk, let's say. However, the instability is there. The daytime heating comes into play, weak front comes through. We're thinking that some of these characteristics could match up and create a couple isolated thunderstorms today across southern Ontario. About a 40% chance. Again, many of us will not see anything today. You'll just see a nice sunny day, bit of cloud cover at some times, but for others there is going to be that risk of the storm. So again, across the GTA and then spreading further to the east. Better chance really in eastern portions of the Greater Toronto region to see a thunderstorm than what we'll see over towards the west. Now temperature wise today, it is feeling warm and seasonal. 27, feeling more like 32 today in Toronto. Barrie feels more like 31. And to get a little recap and review on the Humidex, I turn things over to Chris St. Clair right now with our Canada 150 report. And this evening, it's going to feel a little more like 29 in Toronto. And I know this icon here, it's showing you the risk of a thunderstorm. There is a slight risk of a storm. But again, I'm thinking most of us tonight are going to have quite a nice night. Maybe a little more cloud cover starts to roll in. But other than that, we see a mainly dry week ahead. Thursday, we've got some great conditions for us. 27 degrees in Toronto. The risk of a storm will still linger Thursday, Ottawa, and then over through cottage country. More energy building here. And then we are going to see a lot more energy building as we go into Friday. For Thursday, though, we should be stable right across the GTA. Barrie, though, cottage country like Simcoe, we're not going to rule out that risk of a thunderstorm for you. Just quickly want to show you the DVP this morning. It is 6:06 on this Wednesday morning. A bit of a warmer start to the morning today than what we saw yesterday. Yesterday I was thinking, yeah, you got to turn the heat on in the car to keep warm. It was only about 7, 8, 9 degrees across the GTA. This morning, we're back into those teens, so a bit more comfortable. Today, though, we are going to talk about that unstable air. It remains across the GTA. Potential for a thunderstorm, so we're going to explain that. Also, storms and rain expected for Friday. These could be severe storms, and then cooler weekend expected again. All right, I want to take you to a tropical story first because as 2017 Atlantic hurricane season, we're already down to F, and Franklin today is likely to become a hurricane, making its second landfall. So as we look at the radar here, this continues to spin. We're looking at places like the Yucatan Peninsula, for example, seeing very heavy rainfall with this. Some of the winds getting up to about 85 kilometers an hour, and you can see that track today moving right on land. So with this, it's likely to strengthen as a Category 1 hurricane. And then as it moves over land, it sort of gets ripped up. It doesn't have the right ingredients to really strengthen and sustain itself. But this, of course, is going to be a big weather maker for Mexico today. All right, our weather maker today, not a big one, but there is some energy there. This morning, we're 16 degrees. We're going to add some daytime heating as we go throughout the afternoon. This front here, this stationary, it's kind of an annoying front. It just sits over us and brings us the potential for a pop-up shower, pop-up thunderstorm. There's about a 40% chance that we'll see that within the GTA today, becoming more stable tomorrow. And then this system, this is moving in for Friday. And this really has more of a defined front, a defined center of low pressure. And this is going to bring widespread rain and also the potential for severe storms. When I say severe, heavy downpours, hail, damaging winds, that's what we could be looking at as we move into Friday. As for today, all non-severe in nature. If we do get a thunderstorm across the GTA, quick to happen, quick to leave, just those pulse storms that really develop just due to a little bit of daytime heating and instability. As we look at our temperatures, 27 in Toronto, 25 in Barrie, 26 in Peterborough. So I'll call it a seasonal day. We're a little warmer today than what we saw yesterday. Toronto yesterday officially got up to 25.9, so call it 26, a seasonal day. Tomorrow morning, we're 20 in Toronto, and then into the afternoon up to 27. So we've got really some gorgeous conditions as we move throughout this week. All right, let's take a look at traffic this morning. So far, it's great to have you here with us this morning, 6:17 a.m. and a bit of a warmer start to the day today than what we saw yesterday. But I do want to prepare you. We are looking at the potential for a stray thunderstorm today. Very hit and miss, isolated across southern Ontario. As we look at those current conditions, it's 16 degrees in Toronto, only 3 up in Timmins. I know Timmins is well to the north of us, but just a sign of the times, right? I'm even noticing with the sunrise in the early morning. It is now after 6 a.m. when we're finally starting to see it a little bit brighter out there, like in Barrie, Ontario. Bit of cloud cover up there this morning. We've got 15 degrees in Barrie, so a fairly comfortable start. And we are going to see the sunshine today, but we just can't rule out that risk of a thunderstorm. It still lingers, and that's because we have this unstable air mass with us. We're still stuck in this trough. The daytime heating comes into play as well. Bit of a weak front comes in, so there's a couple reasons why we're saying, okay, there might be a thunderstorm today. 27 degrees in Toronto, 28 in Windsor. Fairly seasonal for us. Yesterday in Toronto, we got up to 25.9, so call it 26 degrees. That is a seasonal day. That's where we should be. So this here is that stationary boundary, and that essentially is what holds us into a little bit of that instability. But what's brewing for Friday is really going to be a lot bigger. We're going to be watching this system come in, more organized, well-defined front, and on Friday, this is where we could see some severe storms. We could see a couple rounds of thunderstorms, heavy rainfall, strong winds. So Friday is really the day for some bigger weather. As we look at today, very isolated, small scale, sort of stray thunderstorm. Tomorrow, the risk of a thunderstorm that is being kept to the north of us and then also over towards Ottawa. So we're actually a lot more stable as we move into Thursday. Thursday is looking like a pretty good day. 27 degrees in Toronto, a little above seasonal, and you can expect to see the sunshine. So if you have Thursday off, or perhaps you just need to plan an outdoor day, it's great to have you here with us. It is Wednesday, August the 9th. Rachel Schoutsen and Shannon Bradbury with you. And Shannon, of course, we got to share some exciting news this morning. For all of you that have been watching the Weather Network and you've watched Nicole Carkett grow, well, we wanted to tell you that she did have the baby on Sunday morning. It was a baby girl. Her name's Marlo, and she is so cute.
Yes,
so, of course, we're wishing Nicole so much happiness.
Yes, exactly. All right, in terms of your forecast, just want to
sending that one into the Weather Network.
Yeah, exactly. In Sudbury today, much better conditions. A mix of sun and cloud, so more likeliness to see those thunderstorms.
You got it. This trough, essentially, it's stuck over us. It's a bit annoying, this stationary front. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. So that's why day after day we have a bit of a risk of a storm. Tomorrow, Toronto's out of that risk. More
area to watch will be into northwestern Ontario, but into Quebec, a gorgeous day, 23 degrees in Montreal, as well as in Gatineau, a little bit below seasonal, but can't complain, a mix of sun and cloud.
Yeah, it's beautiful up and down the St. Lawrence. Today would be a good day to be a tourist in Quebec City.
Oh, it would be. Really comfortable to get outside.
In New Brunswick. Brunswick. Northern New Brunswick did stay mainly dry, but now that system in through Newfoundland.
Yeah, exactly. So as we look at the radar, some showers toward the Avalon. It will ease the west to east, so the Burin's going to get clear before the Bonavista, just to give you an idea. Not too gusty in terms of the wind. However, to start your day, it's going to be a rainy one. Bring your umbrella, your raincoat, and then as we approach this afternoon, many areas are going to clear out the Western Peninsula a little bit earlier on, and we're only looking at an additional 5 millimeters of rain there.
All right, so by the time we're into dinner time tonight in Newfoundland, looks like you could go back out on the patio. We'll take a look at our long-range forecast right here.
All right, we'll start on Friday. So 25 degrees and on, fortunately for your weekend plans, but there will be some sunnier breaks as well throughout your Sunday, 23 degrees. And Halifax, you're staying dry pretty much till the weekend as well. Here's your local forecast.
It's Wednesday morning, 6:37. It's great to have you here with us. You are watching the Weather Network, and so far the roads are looking great this morning. Was just taking a live look at traffic, and the 400 series moving well right across the board. So we'll get into that report coming up. But first, let's talk about this, the unstable air mass that remains across the GTA. We're not talking big, huge, powerful storms today by any means, but a pop-up risk, very isolated. It's one of those days where you could be having lunch outside and all of a sudden the skies turn a little dark, rains for a couple minutes, and then the sun is back out again. That's kind of the setup we're getting into today. Storms and rain expected for Friday. That's really the bigger picture, the bigger system that comes in, and then a cooler weekend expected yet again. I know, the below seasonal pattern, it continues for us, and it really has to all do with the jet stream. Look how high the jet stream, the ridge, is across the west. That is pumping in really warm conditions. We're talking warmer in Yellowknife than what we will be in Toronto as we go throughout the weekend. So here's the trough that we're going to sit in, and it's going to stay with us really right through the weekend. Brings in that energy today. The reason why we do see that thunderstorm risk today is because we do have some energy in place. Not a lot of it, but enough of it. The daytime heating adds a little more, and we do have this weak boundary that moves through. So we do have the potential for some storms today. Tomorrow, a much greater risk over towards Ottawa, and then especially up through Cottage Country. Toronto should be staying more stable tomorrow, and then as we look ahead Thursday and through Friday, all of this energy here, if you follow the legend, that is some strong stuff. When those whites start popping up, that is going to be moving in towards the lower Great Lakes. Now, of course, the Great Lakes help to modify that a little. It's not coming in that strong, but it is a bigger system for Friday. That's what I want you to know. So as we look at the risk for today, the GTA, yes, included in this one. Better potential eastern portions of the GTA to get into some thunderstorms than what we'll see over towards the west. And then tomorrow, that risk of a thunderstorm stays lifted up through Cottage Country and then stretching over to Ottawa. So let's talk temperatures here, because yesterday we got up to 26 degrees in Toronto, and that is seasonal. So we can't complain about it being cold yesterday, because tomorrow was exactly where yesterday was exactly where we should be, and tomorrow we'll be there too. And today, 27, not a bad day for us. Slight risk of a thunderstorm again, but overall, many of us are getting away with a dry day today. This evening, 24 degrees in Toronto, 22 in Barrie, and then as we fast forward you into Thursday, a little above seasonal, 27 in the city, and it's going to feel really nice. All right, let's take a look at traffic this morning. It's August the 9th today. Happy Wednesday. Early start to your day, 6:46 a.m. Thanks for joining us here on the Weather Network. As we look at the temperatures this morning, they are a little bit more comfortable. Yesterday, we were into those single digits. Yeah, it was a bit of a wake-up call of what's to come. I'm really noticing it in the mornings with that sunrise coming up later and later. But this morning, 16 degrees, so we're fairly comfortable. Great conditions to go out for your early morning run or walk the dog. But I do want to mention, if you are in Barrie, within this vicinity here, looks like just after 7 a.m., around 7:20, we are going to be tracking some showers moving into Barrie, and you can see them just pushing north of Barrie there up towards Cottage Country. So a little bit of wet weather on the way. We had this very stray cell actually track across Kitchener this morning. It's fizzled out now, but that brought in just some really light sort of misty showers. Now, as we go throughout the day today, there is enough energy in place to say, okay, maybe we could get a thunderstorm. There's really not a whole lot of it. It's not a big concern today. All garden variety type of thunderstorms, all non-severe, but we are seeing that potential. The daytime heating adds a bit of that extra energy. We do see a weak trough coming in, so that puts us at the risk of a storm. Better chance East GTA that we could be seeing some of those thunderstorms. Now, one thing we'll see for sure is the heat. We're going to feel it. That is it. 32 degrees in Toronto, 31 in Barrie. That's what it's going to feel like. And with a little recap on the Humidex, here's Chris St. Clair. And tonight, that humidity, it's going to feel like 29. Again, the potential for a stray thunderstorm, but very isolated, quick to happen, quick to leave. That's going to be the nature of the storms today. As we fast forward into Thursday afternoon, we are much more stable across the GTA. 27 degrees in Toronto. Cottage Country could still see a couple showers, but that thunderstorm risk really lifted up to the north and then pushing over towards Ottawa and Montreal. Before we go here, just want to show you the 401. I hope you have something out to 25.9. Now, before we get into our forecast, I want to bring you some good news. I just want to mention that Nicole Karkic did have her baby on Sunday morning, a baby girl named Marlo. So she's officially a mom, and of course, we're wishing her all the happiness in the world. All right, let's get back into your weather story. Wednesday afternoon. 27 degrees, but look at that. Yeah, the potential for some active weather. So we do see a slight risk here of a thunderstorm. As we look at the future radar, nothing too impressive is going to pop up across the GTA. But what we want to communicate is the unstable atmosphere is there. The daytime heating comes into the picture as well. A bit of a weak front sliding through. So there is that risk of a thunderstorm. I'm thinking today is a type of day many people will not see a thunderstorm, about a 40% chance within the Greater Toronto region, and really a better risk if you live east GTA out towards Kingston and then Cottage Country. We are likely to be tracking some showers through here. So today in Toronto, type of day, keep your eye on the sky, download the Weather Network app. We'll let you know if anything is about to approach with that precip start stop. But for the most part, I'm thinking we can bank on a pretty decent day. 27 degrees in Toronto into Thursday, more of a stable atmosphere, but Cottage Country, if you're spending the week up here, you are going to be dodging some showers as we go throughout the week. The energy just continues to build this week, and that's because we're stuck in this trough. So tomorrow we see more energy over towards Ottawa and Montreal, but notice this here. This is showing you tons of energy tracking closer to the Great Lakes, closer to where we live. What does that mean? Big system for Friday, and we'll explain right now in your long-range forecast. All right, let's bring you into Friday. So basically, we've been sitting in this trough. It's been sucking some energy into the lower Great Lakes. And on Friday, we are going to see this system move through. With this system, we could be talking severe weather, and we could also be talking a couple rounds of thunderstorms. Temperatures cooling a little bit into Friday, 24 in Toronto, and the risk for rain and storms is there. All of the heat, it's staying bottled up across the west. Even the Northwest Territories, Yellowknife, for example, is going to be warmer than what we will be in Toronto over the weekend. So really, the lack of extreme heat, 30s in the forecast, no, they are just not in the cards for us. The struggle to really feel that August heat, yeah, we certainly are in that battle. All right, when we come back, we want to give you an update on Franklin. A very good morning. It's great to have you here with us on this Wednesday, August the 9th. Today, we are talking potential for thunderstorms. Not a big threat for storms today, and we're not going to see big, powerful, damaging storms. However, the instability is there. It still lingers across the GTA, so we have to say, yeah, there's a slight risk. Many people, I think, will escape without seeing any storms today, but a few of those pockets, they're popping up. All right, storms and rain are expected into Friday, and that's with a big area of low pressure that is going to track across southern Ontario, and then a cooler weekend expected again. I know, yet again. We're going to get into that forecast coming up. But first, I want to take you to the tropics. As Canadians, we love to vacation in places like 2017 Atlantic hurricane season, because that is what this week was looking like in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. We are now on to Franklin, and it is very likely today that Franklin could strengthen into a Category 1 hurricane, making its second landfall. So this is a look at the radar here, moved over the Yucatan, now still headed again towards Mexico. And as we look at this strengthening here, looks like it could be a Category 1. Now, as it moves on to land, it will continue to rain out and it will continue to weaken. But this system could be dropping over 300-400 millimeters of rain, which of course could lead to landslides and flash flooding through Mexico. So of course, we'll keep you updated on that. And of course, theweathernetwork.com, they have everything you need to know on that story. As we look at our weather story right here, 16 degrees in Toronto. Winds nice and light this morning. Very comfortable morning to be on the outside, but we are tracking a little bit of rain. Toronto staying nice and dry, but over towards Barrie, these showers are just pushing in. Looks like some light rain up towards Parry Sound as well and through Cottage Country. So if you are taking the 400 well to the north, looks like you are driving into some showers this morning. A little bit more cloud cover. It's sort of hit and miss across the GTA, and it's all courtesy of this. this stationary front that is staying with us. It's hanging out for the week. And this essentially brings us in that instability, brings us that risk for a thunderstorm. Some of the daytime heating today, adding that extra energy into the atmosphere. So that's why we're at risk for a storm. As we look at Thursday, the storm risk is really up to the north of us and then extended over towards Ottawa. And then Friday, this system will be on top of us within the GTA. So Friday is really going to be more of our active day with an actual front coming through, slicing up the atmosphere, bringing in the potential for some severe storms. So our threat today, all non-severe. We could see those quick pop-up showers, thunderstorms moving fast through the area and very isolated. Not a widespread rain kind of day today. This afternoon, 27 degrees in Toronto. We're going to see a lot of sunshine, but remember that sunny picnic at the park could quickly turn wet if your area does see one of those isolated thunderstorms. Tomorrow morning, we're 20 degrees and into the afternoon, 27. We have a gorgeous day in store as we look ahead at Thursday. All right, some issues out on the roads this morning. You're watching the Weather Network this morning. I'm Rachel Schoutsen. Emily Vukovic on vacation this week, so just me here with you today. And I want to tell you that we are looking at some big problems out on the roads. The 401 eastbound at Lake Ridge, we're looking at a full closure now this morning. Just closed it down during the commercial break. Unfortunately, tractor trailer flipped over here, bunch of fuel out on the highway, so not a very good scene. 401 eastbound at Lake Ridge, that's in Whitby. Westbound, though, still really heavy delays as you're coming past that scene. All right, let's take a look at your current conditions across Ontario. 18 degrees right now in Toronto, only 5 up in Timmins. A warmer start to the day for us this morning, and we are tracking a couple showers moving closer to the Barrie area. You can see that sky becoming a little cloudier this morning. Aurelia is into some showers. We're talking some really light stuff just as it moves across the Bruce Peninsula, and then it's going to clear Barrie. Now, as we go into the afternoon, there is going to be the chance of some pop-up thunderstorms across the lower Great Lakes. Toronto, you're in that risk. Barrie, Cottage Country as well. And there really is a better chance East GTA that we will be seeing some of these thunderstorms develop. Overall, there's only about a 40% chance throughout the day today. So I know that's not overly high, but we want to communicate to you that the risk is there because there is a bit of an unstable atmosphere still. We're looking at this stationary front. It's hanging out over us. It is going to be with us all week long. So it brings in that instability. We're going to see that daytime heating as well. So there's a couple characteristics that could spark up a thunderstorm. As we look at Friday, though, there's a much higher guarantee that we will be seeing those storms because an actual area of low pressure is going to track across, and that could be bringing us some severe weather. As we look at Wednesday here, the potential for storms is widespread across southern Ontario, but again, all non-severe in nature, and these will be quick pulse thunderstorms. As we look at tomorrow, the risk for a storm is lifted up further to the north and then extended over towards Ottawa. So tomorrow, Toronto becoming a little bit more stable, and tomorrow is going to be a gorgeous day, 27 degrees in Toronto. Tomorrow's the type of day you should go for a walk. It's great to have you along with us this morning. I just want to mention, if your travels usually take you through Whitby, the 401 eastbound at Lake Ridge completely closed this morning, and that's because of an overturned tractor trailer. Westbound, still some big delays along that stretch, and we're going to get into traffic that is coming up. But first up, let's talk about our weather story, because we are seeing this unstable air mass. It remains across the GTA, this front just draped across us. That brings the thunderstorm risk. Better potential, higher confidence in bigger storms for Friday, and then a cooler weekend yet again. As we look at our systems right across the country, it's an interesting one because look at the jet stream. The jet stream is way up to the north across the west. That is allowing in really hot air, and hot and sunny is not always what you need. Of course, the scenario across BC with all of the wildfires, they actually need some of our weather on the cooler side and on the wetter side. And we see this big trough across the east, and essentially a lot of energy is just going to be sucked into here this week. We see that instability continuing to grow for us, and that's where we do get the risk of a thunderstorm. The daytime heating today also playing a factor in terms of adding more energy back into the atmosphere. So today's risk of storms, it's with us here across the GTA today. Tomorrow, more over towards Ottawa across Cottage Country, and then we're keeping a very close eye on the next system that's brewing. Look at this here, about to move over Lake Michigan. That is going to be our big system as we look ahead at Friday. So today's thunderstorm risk, yes, widespread, but not seeing widespread rain, not seeing widespread storms. thunderstorms, if that makes sense. I know, it's a bit confusing. Essentially, what I'm trying to get through to you is it's very isolated. Let's say Barrie sees a thunderstorm. We're likely to be tracking some rain in Barrie at this hour, and then down towards Toronto, we're going to be completely dry. There's a better chance that eastern portions of the GTA will get into some showers versus western portions of the GTA. Tomorrow, the thunderstorm risk, it's lifted, and it really extends across cottage country and then especially over to Ottawa. And temperature-wise, we haven't been hot into the 30s, no sweltering August heat for us, but this afternoon, still very pleasant to be on the outdoors. 27 degrees in Toronto. Tomorrow's going to be a gorgeous day. This evening, 24. Again, watching for some of those hit and miss showers. And then Thursday, we have a stable air mass over us. Thursday is looking beautiful. 27 in Toronto. All right, let me take you out onto our roads this morning. Remember, it's 7:46 on this Wednesday morning. Good to have you here with us. And I do want to let you know, if your travels usually take you through Whitby, the 401 eastbound is closed this morning at Lake Ridge. Westbound also seeing some huge delays associated with this. We've had a couple traffic problems this morning. 400 southbound at King, 401 eastbound as well at Mavis. So do expect it slow if you're traveling through any of these stretches. And of course, closed 401 eastbound at Lake Ridge. All right, not to start off on a sour note here, but I just want you to know, as we take a look at your weather this morning, it really is a gorgeous start to the morning. We're looking at a nice, dry, sunny start in Toronto, 18 degrees right now, but showers have been moving in through Barrie and up towards Orillia. So we're just seeing them clip Barrie at this hour. If you're anywhere south of there, you are dry this morning. A few cloudy patches have been rolling through, but up towards cottage country, these stray showers bringing you a little bit of rain as you drink your morning cup of coffee. All right, as we look at the energy today, there is enough energy. There's not a huge amount of energy, but there's enough to spark some storms. Tomorrow, the bulk of that energy will be off closer to Ottawa. And then Friday, we're going to be watching for all of this. That is a lot moving all the way into the GTA. Now, of course, the Great Lakes will help to modify that a little. But on Friday, that's our day when we could see the biggest thunderstorms. Today, there still is that slight risk, especially East GTA here. That's because this front, it is essentially just stalled out over top of us, brings the instability. So quick thunderstorms today. Many of us will see a dry day today, but in some pockets, we could run into a thunderstorm. So just want to put the risk out there for you. 40% chance today. All right, as we take a look at the temperatures, 27 feels like 32. Barrie feels like 31. And now with a little recap on the Humidex, I want to turn things over to Chris St. Clair. Now you know a little bit more about the Humidex, and tonight it will feel like 29. Just want to quickly show you this shot of the 401 eastbound. It's Wednesday today, August the 9th, and as a stationary boundary hangs out over us, we get held in some instability. And essentially what I mean there is there's a risk for a thunderstorm today, about a 40% chance. So not everybody's going to see a thunderstorm, and for many of you, you're going to say, hey, they were wrong at the Weather Network. We didn't see any thunderstorms today. But what we want to do is just communicate to you that the risk is there. We're in a bit of this awkward pattern right now where we see enough energy, we don't see a real trigger. It's a bit confusing, I know, but there's a potential for a thunderstorm today. Much higher confidence that we will see storms into Friday and then a cooler weekend yet again. I want to show you these scenes from Mexico because as Canadians, hey, going down to Mexico is awesome. As we take you now and look at this list, the 2017 Atlantic hurricane season already at F. There's actually talks of GERT possibly forming. We're watching a wave, Invest 99 at this point. That could become the next tropical storm. Right now, though, not to get ahead of ourselves, we are at Franklin. And Franklin is affecting Mexico. Made landfall yesterday over the Yucatan, set to make landfall yet again today. And as this system moves on shore, it's obviously going to lose some steam. As it moves over land, sort of gets ripped apart. But before it gets there, it's likely to strengthen into a Category 1 hurricane. Now, the issue with Franklin is this could be bringing in 300 and 400 millimeters of rain. So we're talking the potential for mudslides and landslides. This is a big story we continue to watch in Mexico. And of course, for up-to-date information, you can always head to theweathernetwork.com. All right, as we take you back here at home, let's take a look at our radar this morning because we have been tracking these showers in and around Barrie up towards Orillia and Parry Sound. They've been pretty light this morning, but enough to add a bit of gray to your morning up there. As we look to the south in Toronto, things have been a lot clearer. But again, this is that kind of annoying stationary boundary that's going to hang over us today and into tomorrow. And it holds the instability, brings us the potential for storms. This here that's coming into the shot right now, that's our next system. And that is set to come come in for Friday. So if I can make this as simple as possible, slight chance for a thunderstorm today, a few pockets for storms. We're clear on Thursday, and then into Friday, that's when we're expecting to see the potential for some severe weather. So this here is the outline look at the thunderstorm risk, all non-severe today. Again, they are quick to happen storms, pulse thunderstorms. The type of day where you could be walking the dog and all of a sudden you see something pretty gray off into the distance. It rains, you hear a clap of thunder, and then you're back into the sunny sky. That's the picture we want to paint for you. As we look at this afternoon, temperature-wise, really comfortable. Feels like summer here. 27 degrees in Toronto, feeling a little more like 32. So for some, they may consider that a little hot now. So we're going a little above seasonal. Thursday morning, 20 degrees in Toronto, 18 in Barrie, and tomorrow the stable air mass is over us. We look at an absolutely beautiful Thursday here. Ottawa, though, holds on to the risk of a thunderstorm, and we could see some spotty stuff in through cottage country as well. Just want to leave you with this, though, before we go. This is the general pattern. As we go into late August, we are finally expecting a good chunk of prolonged warm weather to come into the picture. And we're going to chat about this just ahead in your Long Ranger. That's coming up throughout the hour. Hey, good morning to you. Just want to show you what the skies have been looking like over Barrie this morning. A bit wet out there. A couple gray patches have been rolling by. Just some light showers for places like Barrie, Oro-Medonte, up towards Orillia and Perry Sound. And that's the kind of day it's going to be today. Very isolated. For example, Burlington, Oakville, Toronto, just a stunning, beautiful morning this morning. Whereas Barrie, a little gray. It was beautiful and calm out on the water, though. I was looking at some pictures of your waterfront this morning. Just gorgeous out there. All right, this afternoon, 27 degrees in Toronto, 28 in Windsor. We do have a risk of a thunderstorm, and that thunderstorm risk is really contained across the GTA, stretches up a little to cottage country and a little further to the east of us. And that's all because of a bit of instability that hangs over us, the daytime heating, so that's energy from the sun being put into the atmosphere. The way that this is going to interact today, it could spark up a thunderstorm. So this is the front that's sort of hanging out over us. You can see it's very isolated, the risk of a storm. Tomorrow, we're more stable, and then Friday, we're going to be watching for this. This is a bigger system that comes in. So today, there's not really great confidence that we will see some thunderstorms. About a 40% chance. We just want to communicate to you that the risk is there. Once we look at the system on Friday coming in, there's much higher confidence we will see storms and we will see rain with that one. So highlighted in yellow here, if you live in a place highlighted in yellow, us right across the GTA, the Golden Horseshoe, it is not likely, but there is a potential we could see a thunderstorm. I know these forecasts, sometimes they sound a little confusing because really most of us won't see a thunderstorm, but that one little area could see one today. For example, St. Catharines could get a heavy downpour, whereas the Niagara region stays dry. That's how close it can be. So as we look at Thursday afternoon, 27 degrees in Toronto, we are more stable as we move into Thursday. Thunderstorm risk, though, is going to linger through cottage country and then especially over towards Ottawa. That's where we see more of that energy building right around the Ottawa region. All right, I want to show you how beautiful it was yesterday. Perfectly calm out on the water. The winds were nice and light. If you're going to be exploring any of the Trans-Canada Trail this week or some local parks in your area, let me know. You can find me on Twitter at Rachel Schoutsen. Send me a picture or video. You can connect with the Weather Network on Facebook as well. All right, before we go here, just want to show you a little snapshot into Friday because this is the system that is going to be tracking towards us. So we're stable on Thursday. Thursday is beautiful. And then as we get into Friday, severe storms will be expected. And it looks like we could be seeing a couple rounds of thunderstorms to end off the week. We'll take a look at force of nature, a brewing hurricane, when we return. Well, good morning. It's Wednesday, and it's great to have you here with us. Rachel and Shannon joining you this morning. And Shannon, we got to share some pretty good news. Nicole Karkic, Sunday morning, she had a beautiful baby girl, 6 pounds. They named her Marlo, and she is just too cute. So, of course, we're wishing Nicole all the happiness.
Yes, we are. So exciting.
A clear sky in Sudbury today, but the risk of a thunderstorm.
That the GTA and east, north toward areas toward the cottage country, even Barrie too. Strong winds will be that main threat, and then it kind of extends all toward the Nickel Belt too. We've got that slight risk for some thunderstorms. But as we approach Thursday and then even into Friday, that risk for thunderstorms actually builds by Friday for southern Ontario.
Yeah, for Toronto on Thursday, we are a bit more stable. The risk of a storm lifts really up towards cottage country, especially over to Ottawa. But Friday, that's going to be the big weather maker, and you're going to have to stay with us here at the Weather Network as we dive a little more into that story. But now, Shannon, let's talk about Quebec.
That system has departed, though. Absolutely gorgeous in the Maritimes today, and now it's really a Newfoundland story.
You got it. And And in Newfoundland, I guess the silver lining in all this is you're going to start off the day a little wet as you're headed off to work or maybe summer school.
All right, so as we were mentioning, Friday, that risk for some thunderstorms across southern Ontario, it does increase.
Seasonal struggle. Look at this. Nobody seeing 30 degrees on that board all weekend long. As we're into the mid of August now, I think some of us want some of this heat. Let's check out Halifax, for example.
And then come Saturday, that risk is a little bit higher in Montreal. And Toronto, your higher day for that potential for some thunderstorms will be Friday.
Hey, good to have you with us this morning. Been a bit of a tough start to the day today, especially out in Whitby. Big truck spilled over, bunch of water all over the highway, and a truck on its side at Lake Ridge. Wasn't the best start, but now we're here. We're getting you into the weather story. And I do want to mention that we could be seeing some thunderstorms today. A couple places will see a few pop-up thunderstorms. For the most of us, though, we will see a dry day. Maybe a bit of cloud cover rolls in, sunshine, beautiful sunrise this morning, but there is that risk. And we're going to explain why coming up. Storms and rain expected for Friday, and there really is a higher confidence for Friday. Big area of low pressure comes in, and then a cooler weekend yet again. The below seasonal temperatures, they continue for us. So why are we in this thunderstorm risk today? Why is there a chance? Maybe yes, maybe no. Well, what I want to show you here is the jet stream. See this line? So the jet stream is dipped south of the Great Lakes, and that's putting us into a trough. And when we are in this, it sort of gathers some energy, brings us that unstable atmosphere, and it doesn't perfectly keep us under high pressure. So basically, we do see this risk of a storm. The sunshine today adds in some of that extra energy, and that's where we could get some of these pop-up showers. We also have this weak front tracking through, so that adds a bit of that extra lift. The lake breeze as well. So there's a couple things. As we look at this afternoon, there's not a ton of energy within the GTA, but there's enough there. We could see some thunderstorms. And then tomorrow, the bulk of that energy moves over towards Ottawa. Tomorrow's thunderstorm risk will move further to the north up to Cottage Country and then to the east of us. And then for Friday, we're watching all of this energy. Now, as that energy tracks into the Greater Toronto region, it becomes a little more modified. The Great Lakes help it to do that, but we are looking at more energy building as we go throughout this week. Hopefully that makes sense. Essentially, what I want you to take away from this is there's the possibility you may see a thunderstorm today. For many people, again, though, it will be dry. A 40% chance across the Greater Toronto region. And then tomorrow, that risk is lifted up a little further to the north. Honestly, weather like this, it's pretty tough to explain because there's just so much uncertainty when it comes with the air mass that we are dealing with. So as we look at our temperatures here, 27 degrees in Toronto, it is going to feel nice today. We already had a warmer start to the morning and into the afternoon, getting up to 27, feels a little more like 32. So some summertime weather certainly on the way today. Lunch and dinner on the patio, I think you can do that. This evening, we're 24 degrees in Toronto, 22 in Barrie. And then as we fast forward into tomorrow, tomorrow's air mass more stable for us. So we're 27 within Toronto, mix of sun and cloud, beautiful in the Kawarthas too. But if you are going up to the Muskoka, up towards Huntsville, we are still tracking some of those showers. All right, when we come back, we're taking a look at force of nature. Imagine your tropical vacation to Mexico turned into this. It's good to see you on this Wednesday morning. I hope your day is off to a very nice start. We did see some light showers track across Barrie, over Lake Simcoe, places like Aurelia. It got a little wet this morning, Bruce Peninsula too. And then down towards Toronto, Oakville, Hamilton, nice and dry. So just depending on where you were, just a little bit of moisture in the atmosphere. And it goes to show this unstable air mass we're dealing with. We've got some energy building today, more energy over towards Ottawa tomorrow. And then look at this. If you follow the legend there, that's a lot of energy moving in across the Great Lakes as we look late Thursday. And by Friday, that will be over top of us here in the GTA. The Great Lakes, of course, they modify a lot of that energy. But Friday, we really have the best confidence this week that Friday is going to be the big day where we're talking thunderstorms and widespread rain. For today, the instability is there. We do have the risk of a thunderstorm. Many people will escape today completely rain-free, and it will be beautiful and sunny. But the risk is there for some pop-up showers. Again, quick to happen, quick to leave, pulse storms. So at times they can be producing some heavy rain, and then all of a sudden on the other side of it, the sunshine is out. As we look at the temperatures today, I want to show you the humidity, the humidex as well. Feels like 32 in Toronto and Barrie and London. It's going to be a hot one today. And to learn a little more about the humidex, you know it's Canadian specific. Here's Chris St. Clair. And that humidity tonight is going to feel like 29. Again, the slight thunderstorm risk, it does linger across the GTA as we go throughout the afternoon and evening hours. Now let's take a look at these temperatures as we get you into tomorrow. Tomorrow, 27, similar, feeling again more like the low 30s. But the difference with tomorrow is we have more of a stable air mass. That thunderstorm risk for Thursday, it lifts up to the north and then pushes over further to the east. So tomorrow, actually, we're going to be watching places like Ottawa for some bigger thunderstorms, and then across cottage country as well. And then think Friday, that is the active day for us. And we're going to chat about Friday, plus what's happening for your weekend. That is all coming up in the Long Ranger. Temperature trends that take you right through August as well. That's up when we come back.